Good morning and good day, and whenever you're watching this video, whether it's live or the replay, welcome and thank you. And I have a question for you. Is this happening to you right now where, like, Tracy, I think about going back to dieting and I try for like a couple days or a week, and even if I do it, it just kind of falls flat, or I don't feel like it works anymore. Or even, Tracy, it's like I kind of get revved up and I start emotional eating, and I'm eating, and all I feel is like this flatness and this disappointment that it doesn't get me excited anymore, or just doesn't work anymore. If that's happening for you, you are in the right place, and I would love to answer some of those questions today about, well, gosh, it's not working, so what can bring me relief? My name is Tracy Brown. I'm a somatic dietitian and a tune eating specialist, and we are going to dive into that question, like, what do I do if my old ways of trying to feel acceptable, to try to not be bored, dieting and emotionally eating aren't working anymore for that. So what do I do? That's the question we're asking, and I want to give you a few tips today about how to get those questions answered and how to move forward. So I want to say right off the bat that it's not an easy question. It's not like an easy question to fix, because oftentimes the way that we feel like we're organized inside is so overcoupled with food and food thoughts and body bashing thoughts and seeing the body as the problem. And I want to consider, if we reframed it for a second, maybe the body's just the container of what feels so big and too much, or where it doesn't feel like there's enough space, enough time, enough care, enough safety inside ourselves to be able to not reach for dieting, to have the thoughts. That's what we're really looking at here. And it's a big issue. It's one that, of course, we're all here working on, and it's a matter of time. It's a journey. But the first step is really understanding that the body is the container, not the problem. So how does that land for you? I just want to take a second. I don't want to rush through this video, but just take a second. How is that landing, that the body is the container, but not the problem? Have you heard of that before? And yeah, what's happening in your system, in your body, when you consider that? So I don't want to rush us too much. I really want these videos to be interactive and for them to be timeless, and for them to be something that provides you value to come back and watch over and over and over again. Okay? And so every single time that we find ourselves blaming the body, now that's not to say that sometimes we don't feel sick, sometimes we don't have pain. It's not even so much like the body's betraying you. It's like it's just being like with flashing red lights, something's not working. And it's our job to slow down and tend to that. And it's not always an easy trail, or even, I don't even know which direction to go to have some relief. Instead of hating my body, instead of dieting, instead of saying, screw it, there's nothing here for me, so I might as well eat. Those are the trails that we know. But the new trails that some have already blazed, and you just, follow the path. It's just not as bright and shiny. But it's, okay, if the body's the container and not the problem, what is this body saying right now? What does it need? Of course, this is where intuitive eating is such a beautiful tool, right? It's like, okay, what are my signals of hunger and fullness? When I eat, what's working, what doesn't? And even if the body's being really neutral, but something doesn't feel quite right, what part of me doesn't maybe quite listen to that? And what would be the other function of my eating or not eating? What does that do for me? And when you start going down those kind of rabbit trails, you're going to find the solutions you're looking for, because you're never going to find them at the end of the 12 weeks of a new diet plan, no matter what it is, or the fitness program, or, feeling like your best self ever is in a smaller pant size. You will not find what you're looking for there. You will get cultural, like some relief, like, okay, at least I'm doing it. It can feel like at least I'm doing something right. But it's not the right we're looking for, because we don't want the surface thing. I mean, it's easier, I know, being in the thinner body in this culture because of all, the bias and the just the heinousness that we do to each other as humans, unfortunately. But again, you don't have to be in the soup anymore. I was working with a youngster yesterday, and it was like, because we're all dealing with holiday stuff where people make body comments and I'm so bad and I shouldn't be eating that and all that stuff. And it impacts little ones, and impacts those of us who are in our mature years. And it's one of the things it's not going to go away. It's just, how do we learn how to navigate in it and stay solid in ourselves? So I was telling her, I was like, we're in this soup. It's like we're in this sphere here, and we were once in the soupy soup, stinky, soupy, sewagey soup of feeling like the only way to feel loved and acceptable and in control and wanted is by trying to get the right body. We are all once a part of that too. Now we've kind of crawled out of that and recognized there's something else. There is peace. There is contentment. There is joy in other things besides the size of your body, and other things to accomplish besides trying to get smaller. We all know that. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't be curious and clicking on this video. It's just that it's hard when it, seems like there's one of you and 20 of others. That doesn't mean you're wrong. And that's something to come back to with this, like, how do I get relief, is recognizing, do you want to be free or do you want to be back in the soup? And that's not always an easy yes to say yes to, but that's another way we can get relief, is just knowing that that's feeling familiar, but it doesn't feel good. And if you're having some pride about, like, I'm choosing the thing that feels the best for me, not the easiest thing. And there's something really powerful and strong about that. And so lastly, I want to leave you as we wrap up here is, how do we get relief? It's like every single time you catch yourself, I shouldn't eat this. If only my body were whatever, then I could be okay. Then this problem would be fixed. It's like, well, what is actually the issue? Is it loneliness? Is it lack of mobility? Is it feeling like nobody has your back? Is it whatever that is? That's not going to be fixed by weight loss or having a smaller body. Now, mobility issues, whatever would be done for somebody who's not in a larger body, that's the thing we got to focus on. Sometimes it's time. Sometimes it's like, I need better medical care. Sometimes it's that. If it's loneliness, I'm so glad you're here. I would love for you to reach out, be a part of the Peaceful Eating group, connect with me for one-on-one, create a group in your community. If it's boredom, well, let's push against the wall. Think about what you did when you were little, when there was no pressure, and it was just play. What would you do? What would you want to do besides eat or not eat to fill that space? If it's nobody has my back, okay, I would be curious, are there people around you that maybe want to be there for you, but we're kind of pushing away from them because there's a part of us that's just afraid of getting hurt? If it's, I don't know what to eat, okay, let's do another push and ask yourself, if calories didn't matter and I didn't care about that garbage, and they don't, by the way, but I'm just saying, being hypothetical, is that if I just relied on my hunger and fullness and my body's brilliancy to eat, what would I want? And if you're like, I don't know. Okay, then let's watch some YouTube cooking channels. Let's eat with people that you know are healthy and that can just eat normally. The best, 80% at least the way, 90% at least the way, if not 100. And just notice how, like, sometimes eat more, sometimes eat less. What did you used to love to eat when you were a kid, when you felt safe? If you ever felt safe. If there were ever circumstances that felt okay. So these are all the ways we get relief. And of course, just catching that I feel fat always means I feel uncomfortable. Wanting to change the body is there uncomfortable. And sometimes there's like physical, I don't feel well, I'm sick. Okay. So if we know that going on a restrictive way of eating is going to, even if there's a temporary, I'm not saying that sometimes people don't lose weight and they get some relief of some things. But the question always is it mentally and emotionally going to cause more trauma and obsession again? Is it going to isolate you? Is it in the long run not going to be sustainable? Then that tells you that like it's not a long-term solution. It's just a quick fix. And I'm personally not interested in those kind of things anymore. I want something that's, even if it's challenging, I want something that's real and that's lasting. And maybe that's what you want too. And so if you are, you're in the right place. These videos aren't surface videos. And I want them to be videos that you take time with and are basically like mini sessions. That's why I do these. So thank you everyone so much for watching live. Who was watching the recording, let me know if you're watching the recording. I would love to hear about like where you are and what you're doing. And yeah, what's important to you? What do you want to hear about? And that's more of what I will be talking about as well. So thank you all so much for watching. Of course, as you know, please pass these along to people who need to hear an alternative. Even if, it's like sometimes we plant seeds. Some people plant, some people water. I was working with a person earlier this week, and the person video she watched on YouTube, I don't know if she reached out to them and told them, but they may never know that was the thing that tipped this person over into recovery. And it wasn't about recovery exactly. It was about something else that was related. And that got her down the searching path. And so all of us having a voice in the ways we do it, whether it's this medium, if it's in our communities, in our families, workplaces, just us being solid in ourselves and feeling like I have something to say and he's saying it, that has impact. I just had proof of it this morning. This person's like, yeah, I watched so-and-so's video. I didn't even know who the person is. And it really made me start to think about the way I was trying to help my health, and what I was doing wasn't working. And she showed, just talked about like, here's this condition and it's actually blah, blah, blah. And it was the spark. So you might be somebody's spark. The more solid you are in yourself, the more grounded you are, the less you blame the body as a problem and more as just the container of what we are holding of too much of or not, or feelings or sensations of not enough. The more solid you are in your own journey with intuitive eating and you have ease with yourself around your food, that's probably going to be a spark for somebody else, whether it's your daughter, your nephew, your own physician. Like, they might be learning from you. And so that's exciting. That's truly exciting. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye for now.